Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Central Tabletop Gaming. I am your host, Jeremy Kelly, and today we're going to go over a story that's very close to my heart, how I proposed to my wife. Now, I'm nervous just doing this series because I'm going to let you guys into a little bit of my background, but I thought this would be a great, lighthearted note to start on. So if you guys enjoy this series, comment down below, let me know what you think, because I probably have a story for every type of scenario. I've always viewed myself as outgoing, so there's a ton of stories. If you guys have an interest in saying, hey, have you have any stories on this topic? Yeah, I do, and I'm more than happy to share them. If I brought it up on the channel, comment down below. I'll go over it again. Let's make this a thing. So today we're going to talk about, like I said many times I think already, how I proposed to my wife. So, I had been friends with my wife for 3 years. And we had dated twice. We had a breakup where we stayed away from about each other for 6 months, give or take. I was going through a lot of depression stuff. She was going through a lot of stuff. It was a very mutual breakup, and we decided we'd just be friends during that duration. So, that's why I say we were just friends for 3 years. So, it looks like I didn't really know what I was doing when I finally went up to my mother and said, hey, I think this is the right girl. And she looked at me and goes, are you sure? Good mother question, right? And I paused for a minute and I'm like, no, Jeremy, you're lying to yourself. You know this is the right girl. And I looked at my mother and said, you know what? I know she's the right girl. So, my mother looks at me, and she just she looks like she's gonna just bust out, school girl type of giggling, but she's trying to hold her composure. My mother does not show emotion very well. So, she looks at me and she says, all right. So she goes into the bedroom and pulls out 2 diamond rings. One of which was gold, one of which was white gold, which is a real thing. It looks like it's silver. Look it up, guys. They look absolutely stunning. And honestly, I think gold just looks really tacky. So I think white gold's a better way to go anyways. Now, I had been promised a set of rings from my first stepfather, Donovan. And I wanted those. So I looked at my mom and I said, which one are from Donovan? And she told me it was the white gold ones. And I said, those are the ones I want to give her. Now, let me tell you, these things are an antique. You know how vintage style rings have the word vintage on them? Yeah, these don't have that. So, my mother ends up giving me these gold diamond rings for me to give to my wife later. So, I finally sit down. I'm like, all right, so where am I going to do this proposal? Because, as a guy, you have to set up the atmosphere. It's a big deal. And I told myself, I always wanted to do it on, like, this medieval castle that we had up in Iowa where I used to live. One of those outlook towers that looked over the Mississippi. Well, I'm not driving 9 to 10 hours to do a proposal, guys. I'm sorry, not happening. So, I decide I'm going to take her up to this tower in Eureka Springs. This is a 100-foot observation tower, and you literally feel like you're able to reach out and touch God at that point. I mean, like, it is that stunning. So, we climb this observation tower, which takes us about an hour to get used to. By the way, I had set this up so she would have very little idea what was going to happen. So I had been wearing, like, suit tops, dress shirts more often. Like, I literally got her to let down her guard. So we're driving out to Eureka Springs. We climb up this 100-foot observation tower, which, by the way, it is cloudy as all get. Part of me being grateful because, you know, less heat. But, nonetheless, there was a good strong wind, and it got her scared a few times. And I was really thinking to myself, Jeremy, you have to keep pushing her. Thankfully, I was behind. And when you're the guy on the bottom, you're the jerk who sets the pace. So, we get to the top of the tower, and we're looking out, and I'm trying to collect myself. I've got this ring being fiddled around in my pocket, and I'm pretending it's my cell phone so she doesn't know. By the way, this would have been really awkward if I had pulled out my phone for the proposal, so right before the proposal I had managed to switch pockets on the suit jacket. So, I'm telling myself it's time. We have to say it. The weather looks like it actually might turn sour. So, I look at her and I say, hey, would you stand alongside me for a second? Let's just look out at this edge together. You know, I've tried to be romantic, and I had done things like this before, so she had no idea. So, we're looking over this 100-foot observation tower, and I go, this view is absolutely stunning, isn't it? She replies with a very cutesy, like, sigh, going, yeah. And I just go, you know what the downside of this view is? I can't take it home with me. I get down on one knee, and I look right at her in the eyes and say, but can I take you home forever? Of course, you guys know the story from there. She said yes.